All right. So it's been a while. It's been a while since I've been able to express myself, at least in this form. Well, I guess I haven't really expressed myself at all. I typically do voice recordings for myself, like to talk to myself and kind of see what's on my mind, but I haven't even done that. And it started a few weeks ago when I took my family on vacation. Right? It was a much needed vacation, and our goal was to tap into a timeline that we have scripted for ourselves to see how it fits, and it was a great vacation. My main goal with that vacation was to check out of everything and just be super present with every second of every moment. And I accomplished that goal. I think I checked out so far that I haven't been able to check back in. And it really isn't that I haven't been able to tap into this creative force, whatever this is, right? This outlet of expression. Because I have been able to. I can make excuses as to why I haven't been able to, right? Of course, I've been busy, right? Things have kind of been going a certain way in my reality, and it is what it is. Everything is a blessing, if you can look at it from a certain angle. But if you want to do something, you'll just do it. So I guess I just didn't want to express myself. And that kind of brought on a lot of negative thoughts as to what I've been doing. What have I been up to? What is this all for? These past few weeks, I've been thinking, like, if I don't have an urge, like an inner desire to do this, right? To just bullshit on the mic and express myself in any which way. Am I lying to myself by telling myself that this is a passion of mine? Have I been fooling myself? I was just like in a funk these past few weeks. Like when I got back from vacation, I was more tired than I was when I started the vacation. I came back and I just couldn't check in. I couldn't get back to the routine. The first few days you give yourself some excuses. I'm tired. I got to put things back the way they are. We're trying to get back into the flow of things so you don't do your routine. And then on top of that, I've been blessed with abundance in the form that I can take it. And so I've been busy with other things in terms of doing what I need to do to maintain what needs to be maintained. But of course, that's tiring as well, too, right? I had to put in a lot of hours at work, and they were laborious hours. And so I would start early and end late just to maximize the day and work less days. So, of course, I've been tired. Right? I haven't been able to even try to express in this form. These past few weeks, it seemed like I was forcing myself to not even try to get on the mic. I continued to make excuses for myself, and I knew that I was doing it on purpose, and I just allowed it to happen. It was kind of, I just wanted to explore, I guess, laziness. Well, I guess laziness is not the right term. Right, because I wasn't really being lazy. I guess in some people's eyes, I was being lazy, right? Because I was taking care of what I needed to take care of on a daily basis, and there were extra hours in the day that typically I would allocate towards what I do now, whether it be designing something, coming up with something, speaking about something. But those extra hours in the day, I didn't have that urge to get back on it. And so in a way, yes, I guess it is lazy comparatively to how I was, before the vacation, let's just say. What's funny is that I used to reminisce about what I call the good old days, right? The good old days were when I would be working my corporate job, and Friday would come around, and you just go grab a few beers or, get a bottle, and you just sit your ass down in front of the TV and just vibe out till Sunday afternoon, right? And I would think to myself, like at least in the beginning of this year, when my mind was everywhere and I was racing with ideas and doing this, that, and the other, I would kind of reminisce like, damn, those are like the good days. You don't realize how easy those days were, because you can just check out, because no matter what, Monday's not here. And when Monday does come, you know what you're going to do. You're on a salary position, so things are pretty much automated for you. You're on autopilot. And there's a beauty to being in that autopilot. Of course, I understand that it's not fulfilling for the soul, right? And for your heart. But there's a certain ease of life when you're in that matrix, right? And so I would always have that thought in my head, like, the good old days, right? And so I tried that suit on, like, these past couple of weeks. I was like, I'm going to just check into the TV. I'm going to sit my ass down. And even the week that I had finished my large project where I was tired, I was like, let me grab a couple of beers for the good old days. Why not? And so I did that. Friday night, I got myself a nice little 6-pack of beer. I sat down. And then the biggest issue I had was finding something on TV. Nothing resonated, but yet I forced myself. I would watch movies that I knew that would bring me joy because I've seen them before. Because somehow movies nowadays, my attention span is so depleted that I lose focus on a movie if I don't know the direction it's going to take. So I would put on these old movies that I knew that would satisfy me. I was kind of forcing myself to get into that watching TV, and I knew that I wasn't happy at that moment doing that, but I still forced myself to do it. And this went on for several days, just finding reasons not to express myself. And so I kind of got into this daze, like this feeling of emptiness. And I was still moving forward with it. Sometimes as a human, I think that we like to indulge in these feelings, whether we label them negative or positive. Like even the feelings that we don't want to feel, we like to feel them because we're in the flesh. And so somehow I knew that I was digging myself into like an emotional hole of sorts, right? Everything was good on the outside world. My family was good. They're happy. Hey, I'm home, let's hang out. But something inside of me, I felt something like I was not satisfied. But then these negative thoughts started coming into my head, like, why don't I have this urge to get back on that mic? Why don't I have this urge to continue doing what I've been doing? Is it because it's not my passion? So that was a really big question that I asked myself. Am I not expressing myself in the form that I'm used to these past few months because it was a facade? It wasn't actually a passion. I was delusional. Maybe I was, so many questions come to mind. One big question that came to me was in regards to outside validation. Right? Like I asked myself, would anyone even care if I never post again? Right? What effect would it have if I just take everything down and I just keep it going doing something else? Kind of feeling like a real bitch. Like, meh. So then I asked myself, am I doing this for outside validation? And the sad thing was that the first answer that came to my mind was, yeah, I think I am. I mean, I don't do it just for the outside validation, but I think that anyone embarking on the journey of providing their creation to the world would like some kind of feedback. But the problem is that I think that I was allowing myself to be hindered by that validation of sorts. I wanted to see gradual growth, and somehow that gradual growth just plateaued. But still, like another feeling that came to me was like of being ungrateful for what I do have right now. Like I'm so grateful for those that listen to me now, those who subscribe and interact with my videos now. Why did I feel that that wasn't good enough? I guess it was like the human in me wanting more and more and more. But these last few weeks, even though they were, I guess, mentally and emotionally difficult, I think it was divine. And it came at a perfect time. Because these past few weeks, I felt unsatisfied. And I didn't know what it was. I blamed it on all sorts of things. Like I blamed it on me being tired from the long hours that I was putting in. I blamed it on maybe the fact that my why is all screwed up. Like, why am I doing this? I blamed it on me potentially having to venture onto something new, right? All these thoughts, all these negative thoughts and misplaced emotions. But I realize now, especially I realize at this very moment right now, that the reason that I felt so unfulfilled and like a void was because I wasn't tapping into this. I wasn't expressing myself. So I was holding in whatever wanted to express itself. And the beauty in that is now I know the answer to my question, right? Am I doing this for outside validation? And the answer is no. Of course, I kind of still want the validation, right? But it doesn't matter, right? Because what I'm doing right now is literally what I set out to do. And that was act on my highest excitement. And right now I'm full of excitement. Another goal alongside acting on my excitement was to not have any outcome, because me expressing myself is the outcome, is the goal. I guess another error that I can think of was forcing my passion to be a business. If it is, it is, and it'll come naturally, right? But because I was turning my passion into a business, I had to set these expectations. And because these expectations weren't met, then I was going to give up on everything, right? I mean, maybe I wasn't going to give up on it, but these are the thoughts that kind of came to my head. If I'm unsuccessful expressing my passion, I'm going to be unsuccessful running a business based on my passion. So then, even now I have all these questions in regards to, so what is my business, How am I going to help someone if I can't even help myself? Right? But once again, even with that phrase, I'm kind of brought back to my why, right? Because initially I wanted to help humanity. I wanted to help anybody really, but that's not my job, right? We are not here to help anyone. So I guess, the only thing that I can do is continue to express myself in the way that I feel is necessary. And if anyone just so happens to benefit and get help from what I say, then that's beautiful. Anyways, I guess that's really what I wanted to get out today. Oh, one last thing. A few of my followers, they made me aware that apparently my podcasts go long. That's news to me. I thought that 1 hour was standard, but I'm new to all this. I have these expectations that I've created in my mind that are thin air, and so I kind of follow it. Thinking that like anything less than 1 hour with a person is unprofessional, right? Or lacks any kind of effort, right? But yeah, that doesn't make any sense, especially, when I say it now out loud, it doesn't make sense. As long as the information being provided is golden, short and sweet is always good to eat. So I'll always keep that in mind. And I appreciate the feedback. Also that feedback is kind of relieving as well, because I guess I had this expectation in my mind of how things need to come together in order to share it with the world. But sometimes I get into a flow state. Like I'll have my mic on when I'm walking around in the park or even in my backyard, and I'll just flow out whatever's coming to my brain just to have a conversation with myself. And sometimes like some dope stuff comes out, but it's just like a small, it's like maybe like 5 minutes. So I kind of just keep it in my hard drive. Like there's no real need to even attempt to get it out there. But I mean, I guess I can, right? Anyways, I'll dabble around. I'll have a little fun, and we'll see what comes out of this. And but yeah, I guess we'll leave it there because now I'm kind of dragging it on. So, as always, stay clear-headed, stay focused-minded, and stay body-grounded. Much love, tribe. So, as most of you may know, I typically end my solo episodes by showcasing individuals who express themselves musically, and this episode is no different. Today I'll be showcasing someone special. I would consider this person to take on kind of like a mother figure, which is weird to say because I'm pretty sure she's younger than me. But I think that many of us would consider her that mother figure. She's been an ear when emotions needed to be spoken and heard. She's been the voice of reasoning during times of uncertainty and questions. She's a friend when a friend is needed. She's a counselor when you need to seek advice. And although I've never met this individual in person, she holds a special place in my heart. She's just a real one. This individual plays multiple instruments, but I chose this video and instrument in specific because of the beauty in the way she does what she does when she's in that flow. Today's musical guest goes by the name of Clementine. Thank you for allowing me to share your art with the world. Much respect, gratitude, and love goes out to you.